gonna head right into the consultation room.
Hey, Matt.
Welcome to Oasis. How you guys doing? Pleasure.
Medical cannabis is gaining acceptance all over the country. I went to a Las Vegas dispensary with my friend Joel Davis, who was born with scoliosis and deals with constant chronic pain. We wanted to see what all the fuss was about. What we found was a surprisingly normal small business.
All right, take a seat, guys. Make yourself comfortable. Awesome. Well, welcome to Oasis. How did you guys hear about us?
We heard about you through Weed Maps.
That's a common one. So is it your first time using cannabis? Is it a reintroduction to cannabis, or where do we start?
Consider us newbies on this.
All new.
We're trying to figure everything out.
Starting from the basics can be kind of overwhelming coming into a medical dispensary or retail dispensary. There's so much information in Nevada that it can kind of feel really overwhelming. What we do here is that we try and find the perfect blend or the ideal combination of compounds, whether it's cannabinoids and terpenes or other essential oils into your lifestyle. We might dig a little bit deeper and trying to find out if you drink soda and red meat and all those other things too, but we'll try and dial it in with you as long as you're patient with us. If we find that it is a trial and error basis for most people, because the endocannabinoid system is all throughout the body on every single person, most mammals as far as I know, and can receive those cannabinoids and get effects from them. So you'll see on the wall up here too that we have some visual representations of the different terpenes and combinations that you can use to find the ideal effects. So most people are used to the terms sativa, indica, and hybrid. So I like to kind of refer to those as stoner science because it's a little bit outdated as far as where we're headed in our path and where science is kind of taking us right now. The cannabinoids are highly tested in Nevada. There are about 11 that they require us to test for. Some labs test for a little bit more because they're interested in the growth of science and evolution of that too. So CBD is the most common and the most mainstream cannabinoid. That cannabinoid causes little to zero side effects in the brain, as far as fuzziness and feeling high and getting paranoid and having those stigma effects that THC can cause. It is a silent healer though, so it's underestimated by most people. So I have junior rheumatoid arthritis. I was diagnosed with that when I was about 10 years old, so wasn't really into sports and stuff as growing up because we didn't really know what it was. But being able to know what I need to solve that with certain cannabinoids and a combination of terpenes, it was kind of like a cannabis cocktail per se to find out what combination worked best for me. So we can kind of show you on the dispensary floor if you're not overwhelmed already, if you have any questions for me. We have tons of different kinds of products that we can show you from their very beginner to the connoisseur experience too. All right, so this is the dispensary floor. So we kind of step right over here. We have it all separated as well as we can, from edibles and topicals to some of the more medicinal delivery methods. Like we have the capsules, like I mentioned. We have the transdermal patches, suppositories for certain patients with cancer. It's phenomenal for those types of extremes. But we also have other edible oils too, which I didn't discuss. Like they call it RSO. It's a full plant spectrum. Usually they use all of the plant, which includes like the sugar leaves that are normally trimmed off for the manicured buds that most people like to smoke. But they process those through two different extraction methods. Usually they refine with alcohol. Some people do smoke it, but it is preferred to be eaten. It's the most common and the most mainstream method of an edible oil. You only use about the size of a grain of rice to start with. And then you just bump yourself up from there as you build a tolerance to it and you find out how much your body's actually absorbing as well too. But it's a little bit pricier, but it is definitely a more medical product. We don't have a lot of retail customers that come in here looking for RSO unless they are cancer patients and they just don't tell us that. So I talked about the topicals a little bit with you guys. I want to kind of show you which topical I recommend the most. Ironically enough, I recommend this topical to my grandmother. She's in her mid-80s and she is in bed most of her time. We lost my grandfather a couple years ago, and so she's a little less motivated than we would hope that she would be. But this topical, generally, she's been rubbing on her hip area, and it helps her to roll out of bed, and so that she can do daily functions like use the restroom, get water for herself, and gain that little bit of independence back that she may have felt like she had lost because of just the pain that it caused to get out of bed every morning. So that's the Apothecana that I have right up here. It has other essential herbs and essential oils in it as well too, like peppermint, juniper, and arnica. All of those are associated with anti-inflammatory as well too. This is the extra strength cream. You'll see we don't carry any other smells or flavors because this is the one for us. This is the one that we recommended time and time again for most patients and people. Great introductory product to anybody who doesn't think it works.
That's the one that got Grandma moving.
I like the way you put that. Absolutely. And currently, with the regulations we have, those are medical products only as well too. So a retail customer could not buy them because they're too potent. There's more than 100 milligrams of THC in each pack, so they're not available for retail sales at this time, only medical. Some things that you can smoke. So there's a lot of different kinds. We have pre-rolled joints. We sell in grams, eighths, quarters, half ounces, and ounces. Everything is lab tested before we get it too. I'm legally not allowed to take a product from a vendor unless it's been tested by a licensed lab and it has passed. I'm happy to show anybody even the literal test result that we get from the lab. It's public knowledge.
After I finished shopping, I sat down with the owner of Oasis Cannabis. He's just like the other entrepreneurs I've met. He's passionate about his products, his customers, and his business. His biggest challenge is one I've heard countless times before: dealing with bad regulations and political barriers to providing the best product at the best price.
We started as medical in December of 2015, but I've been working in the cannabis space for a little over 3 years now. You know, we actually legalized it in 2000, and most people don't realize that because there was no legal place for you to obtain medicine until 2014 when the first dispensaries were licensed. So, and in fact, it wasn't until August of 2015 that the first dispensary opened in Nevada. Medical marijuana was legal, but patients had no legal way to obtain their cannabis. So they actually had to commit a crime in order to obtain medicine that they were legally entitled to have.
Nevada legalized recreational cannabis in 2016, and it went online on July 1st. Talk a little bit about that process.
I think Nevada set all kinds of records when it comes to implementation of legalized sales of cannabis after voter initiative. People spoke, and they were tired of this unjust prohibition and ready to let regular citizens make choices about their own personal health and their lifestyle without being made to be a criminal because of somebody's belief that this plant should be illegal and should cause people to go to jail.
But one of the challenges is to get past the stereotypes and the fear that some people have about this because it's different.
We recognize that a lot of people are fearful about trying cannabis because they've been told all their lives that it's this dangerous drug and it's only bad people do it. And we've heard that recently from some people with opinions from an earlier generation. When you come to Oasis, you'll quickly see that it's a store, much like any other store. It's set up to help you feel comfortable, and we have friendly team members that are here to answer questions and help you learn about it and make a selection that's appropriate for you. We got into this because cannabis is medicine and we saw it as an opportunity to help people. And now with retail sales being legal, we see that as an opportunity to help more people.